Yeah, back to my story. Yeah. The security guard came up the staircase. Yeah, and flashed his flashlight on us. Yeah, he spoke in Chinese, and we could understand a little bit of Chinese. We understood a little bit of Chinese, so he was asking, uh, "What are you guys doing?" And the manner he asked was like he wasn't angry or he wasn't pissed or he wasn't making a point like we broke a law or anything, and there was no sign that said no entrance or anything, and he opened the door, he flashed his flashlight on us, and he said that what are you guys doing? And we said we're just playing the Ouija board, man. And he was like, oh, okay, 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 okay. And he strangely walked in a very not normal kind of way, man. The way he walked, he had a strange limp. Or maybe he had a leg injury or something, man, but I remember his eyes. They were funny, man. They were not funny. They were strange. They were his eyes like were going left and right, looking at opposites of direction. They were not looking straight. He had like one of those reptilian eyes. But he was a Chinese guy, so I don't know what he was into. So he came out from that door, everyone was screaming, I mean, the girl was screaming, we were freaked out, but our hands were still on the board, and we were just like talking to him, and yeah, and so that was my first so-called after years of playing the Ouija board, seeing the name old pig, and finally, it said, "Old pig is here. Someone is coming up," and somebody actually opened the door, and we were pretty much freaked out by the whole communication between the spirit world, and it somehow told us that someone was coming up. So we pretty much got the idea, like, hey, man, this shit is for real, man. It can sense things or people or energies or of humans that are approaching. That is enough for us. So that night, we packed up, we left, and I remember that board was borrowed to one of our other friends. They wanted to try it, so we just handed the board over to our friends, and after that we forgot about the whole incident and everything, yeah. So that happened like way back in 1995 and 1996. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, man, about the whole Freemason building, which is at the foot of that hill in Fort Canning, where we used to like go up and do a ghost hunt, and there was a vacant, very old. It looked very 19. It looked like a 1920. It looked like it was built in the 1918s. I was certain. It looks very old, man. It's got that eerie vintage, dark, empty. Like the windows are all the wood, the wooden windows are like, they look like they're gonna fall off anytime, and it looks very dilapidated. But the dogs that were guarding that building, they were Dobermans, man. They were freaking huge, large Dobermans. Because I remembered we passed by that vacant building, right? There's a wall that you can actually look down that house, and you could see a lot. You could see on the grass, right? You could see a lot of like Doberman. Sorry, you could see a lot of Dobermans just running around in circles, and just if they saw us, right, they'll be barking at us, man, non-stop, man. And we were at that time we were wondering like who is keeping these dogs alive, man. Someone has got to be feeding them, right? So I guess I was at that time. I guess there was a security guard there, and if you go up that hill, right, there'll be a white building which was a British fortress, and then it became a Japanese fortress, and there were security guards stationed there since the 80s and the 90s. So due to that, there were not many crime cases or anything. No one tried anything funny around there because it was pretty much a safe place. There were people hanging out around, like picnicking, having a good time, So I guess rapists or any criminals wouldn't thought of going there, because there would be always like uh, a group of guys or a group of like picnickers just drinking, hanging around, that kind of thing. But there were nights where it's empty, but it's still safe, yeah. Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you, man. Just on top of that hill, right? Just nice. On top of that hill, there's a very long cemetery. If you look at it, right, it looks very huge, man. It's a Muslim cemetery, which is supposedly, they say it belonged to the last Sultan of Singapore. His name is Iskandar Shah or something like that, and his mus uh, he was a Muslim, and he was buried there on top of that building, So to me, it was kind of like cool, man. The whole rock concert being held at the field, and there's the cemetery on top, and backed with the history of World War II soldiers dying there, and citizens being tortured and like captured, by the Japanese, being tortured there and all. So yeah. And yeah, after the night, we played the Ouija board in that building. We actually felt like, wow, that was something. And then we decided to take it further. We decided to go up that hill, but we didn't play right on that field. We went even deeper. We went through the joggers route. You can actually go up that hill. You can take a walk around. And once you go up even further up that hill, right, that's at the peak of that hill, you can look down. You can see like the streets and everything, but it's very dark. It's really really very dark, and you'll probably see only a few lampposts and a few like a couple of seats, and you will find like a small like a shelter where some people might gather to do some barbecuing and that kind of thing, but some nights those shelters would be empty. So there was one night we went there. So we brought like two girls. They wanted to come along, two different girls, and so we were playing. And this girl, she didn't tell us that she didn't told us that she was on her menses. She was bleeding, and in Asian culture, if you were to go on a ghost hunt, and if you were on your menses, you are a very vulnerable magnetic target, man, for the spirits. Like they love girls who are on their menses. You are like their, they just want that blood out of you, or they just want you to die, that kind of thing, because they know that probably you're virgin or something like that. So the girl was there, and me, four other guys. Yeah, and the girl wanted to play, so we let her hand on the board. Me, two guys. So there's four-person. Me, two guys, and her. She was playing, and she didn't tell us that she was on a menses. So we were playing on the thing, and as usual, the name came out, old pig, and then the lights. I remember that night, the lamp posts on the sides along the pathways started to flicker and flicker. It just kept flickering and flickering when the name old pig kept appearing on the board, and we were a bit freaked out, but we didn't budge. We were expecting more, but nothing happened. But the board didn't spell anything else, but it just kept pointing to the girl, to where she was sitting. Right, the cursor on the board just kept going to her, going to her. It was just like moving on to where she was sitting, just pointing to her, pointing to her. And so I was looking at it, and I was thinking, like, maybe there is something pointing to her, like, maybe the spirit on that board, like, just is just attracted to that girl. And so I asked the spirit, I asked the board, what do you want from her, man? And at that moment, right, it just spelled BLOOD. And then the girl suddenly told us, oh my god, you know what? And she said that she was on her menses. And we were like, what? You mean you on your period? And we were like, oh, okay. But we were surprised that it spelled blood, and we were like, okay, blood. And so I said, and I asked the board again, so what do you want from her? And then it just said DIE, die. And it said DEATH, death. And at that moment, right, I remember that girl just cried, man. She couldn't take it, man. She just cried, and so we decided to call it a night. So we closed the board, we said goodbye, and she was crying and crying. She was freaked out, man. She was freaked out in a way, like she was afraid, like, like something is gonna happen to her in the coming future, like in the next few days, or something might happen to her, that kind of thing. And then we try to like convince her, like, hey, relax, man. Don't take this game seriously, man. We've played this game like a lot of times, man. And nothing happened to us, man. Relax, man. We will stick around you. You just stick around us, man, for the next few days. We'll stick around. We take care of one another, and you'll be fine, man. And she calmed down, and everything was fine. And yeah, and that was one of our last few games with the board. So yeah, pretty much when I was 16, 17, I was listening to a lot of music, metal, hardcore, black metal, even deeper black metal, Norwegian black metal, bands like Dark Throne and everything. I was into the extreme stuff, man. Like kids at that time were listening to Nirvana, Nirvana or Green Day. I mean, yeah. We were much into that, but we were even way deeper underground, man. Like to us, Nirvana and Green Day, like were like just like nah. They were just like yeah, MTV bands. Just like um, you gotta be good looking to be in the group, or you gotta be good looking or whatsoever to be to hang out with like groups who listen to this kind of bands or whatsoever. So I was like I knew all that crap, so I was like way deeper into the underground, man. Where none of those stereotype thing exists. In the underground, like nobody gives a shit about how you look, man. Or nobody gives a shit about if there's anything strange about you, or if you had like or any physical disability or whatsoever. As long as you are there for the music, everyone respects one another, and it's all cool, man. And I was attending a lot of like black metal shows, black metal gigs, and like I was pretty much not the normal radio friendly kid. I was very versed into the underground stuff at that time, and I had a band as well. I was playing in a hardcore band at that time. I remember we wrote a letter to Rick Tarlife from 25 Tarlife, the hardcore band from New York. I think he remembers us. I don't want to tell you the name of my band. So anyway, that was the story of my Ouija board experience, which was earlier on. Which now is part two of my paranormal experience, man. So pretty much after the whole Ouija board incident, we were like a band, and then we all got conscripted, one another, and one of us got into the army, the other one got into the police, the other one got into the firefighter, the SCDF, Singapore Defence Force, the police, the army industry, or maybe the Navy, or maybe the Air Force, it depends, so like different military um, you'll be drafted into different sectors of the government, military sectors. I got into the army. My friend got into the police. So pretty much that group that played the Ouija board sort of like broke up, man. And at that time, I had a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend, and it didn't last that long though. When I got into the army, she was pretty much seeing someone else, because I was always in camp, and I was always busy with work and everything, so I couldn't be around her that much. So she was seeing someone else, and we broke up. And after that, and I became depressed, and no one told me that she was seeing someone else, and so I was very disappointed with the people that I hung out with at that time, because I was the last to know that she was seeing someone else, and I was very heartbroken at the time, and so I was angry, and I just decided to like just go at it alone, man. So from then on, I was going at things alone, just hanging out by myself, and but before that, I was really playing in a lot of good bands. I was playing with a lot of good musicians here in Singapore, which was in the underground, and I went from the underground, and slowly I went up to the sort of like the local music scene. So everyone knew that I had this skill on the drums, where I was good at it, man, and they knew me, and some guys that when they see me right now, they would call me. These guys, they would see me as like they would say like this guy he's a fucking legend, man. I used like to walk around with whiskey in my pocket, and before every gig that I play, right, I'll be sitting just outside the venue of the gig, and I would be sitting on the curb, and I'll just be drinking my whiskey like no one cared, man. And I don't give a shit if no one talk to me or anything. I didn't give the whole fucking rock star attitude, like, I was just behaving like I got a depression problem, and I was just there to rock it out, and I'm just gonna drink myself, and yeah, hi, whatever. It's like, you wanna come and sit down and talk and have a cigarette or what is all fine. So yeah, I was just doing that, and then I left the band. I broke up the band, and I was pretty much hanging out by myself on that fortress. So I'm gonna cut the story short. So this happened like way back in 2000, and I think it's about 2007 to 2009. At that time, I was working in a French restaurant, and the head chef was my bassist, the last band that I was in, and he called me up, and he asked me if I wanted to work there with him, because he knew that I was in like desperate. Everyone knew that I have gone down straight into the depth of the ocean and just sat there and just like got comfortable there, man. I just like dove right to the bottom of the sea, man, and just like chilled there, man, for like years. And this guy, like my old bassist, like he found out about me, and he called me up and like, hey, you wanna work at my restaurant? He just like, if you couldn't, if he told me like, if you can't cook, it's okay, man. Just like do the dish or whatever, man. I'll pay you good money and everything. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll just work with him, man. So at that time, I was earning quite a lot. I was working every day, and it was a good job, man. I would finish my work early, like the earliest I'll be done is by 10. So by 10, I could go anywhere every day, man. And I had to be at work by earliest is by 2 p.m. So by 2 p.m. I got there, all the plates all piled up. So I'll just do my job, and I'll be done by 8 p.m. It's closed. So by 9 p.m. I'll be out. Only on weekends it's 10 p.m. But on other days, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. I'll be pretty much dressed up, and I'll be like loaded with my cash, and that's it, man. I'll just go straight to the fortress, and just with my music, and with my beers and whatever, and I just sit down there and just listen to music. And so this happened to me one night. I was just I was loaded. I mean, I just got my pay. So I bought like 2 bottles of wine. I started drinking at around 8 p.m. I finished a bottle of wine, and it was 9 p.m. I finished one more bottle of wine, so I drank 2 bottles of wine. So at that time I was pretty much like, but I'm used to being drunk at that time, so I was like, I was just concentrating on the music. I just love smelling the fresh air and just like listening to the music, and like getting into a transcendental state of mind where I would practice the art of seeing things that is conceived in the music. because I used to download a lot of music from the internet, so I had no. I haven't seen the album cover or the album art of the music. So what I liked to do at that time was I would download music without seeing the album artwork. And so what I do is like I would just get drunk and I would listen to the music and I would try to see if my vision would hit exactly what the album cover is. If I see the perfect picture, or if I hit the right picture, and later on I find out that, oh my god, that was what I saw in that song, and I find out that that was a picture that was painted in that song, and I was trying to learn that craft. I was trying to learn the whole transcendental thing. It's almost psychic. So I was going through that. I was learning that phase thing. So I was drinking down. I was down to my second bottle, and I had a few tall boys. I was a stout drinker. I was a Guinness stout drinker. So I had about three tall boys. I took my time with the three tall boys. I started sipping at around 10, sipping, and then I just felt like, and I wasn't working the next day. It was my off day the next day, and I was thinking, man, there's nothing to do at home. It's just like I would rather stay here and maybe just walk around later on, man. And I had like my medication, which was my sleeping pills or my muscle relaxants at that time, because I was working pretty hard at the time, so I had like some ailments or muscle pain. So I had some muscle relaxants, or like Zapam thing, diazepam or whatever. So I decided to like went Jimi Hendrix on it. So I popped two, and I was sipping Guinness stout. I was sipping, and I realized it was midnight. And I just kept going, man. I was just listening to a lot of bands at that time. I had an MP3 player at that time, yeah. Because with an MP3 player, there was no way you could see the album cover. You would download songs, but you can never see the album cover, man. At that time, it was that way for me. And then I would try to see what the album cover is. If I hit the point, then I knew, boom, my vision is open to a certain realm. And so that night, I was just drinking and drinking and drinking. So I popped two pills, and then it was around 1 a.m. I was hallucinating, man. I was so drunk. I thought, in my head, I remember, I thought I was at home. I was opening my door. I was hallucinating in my head. I was hallucinating. I was opening my door, and I was walking into my room, and I was just gonna go to bed. But in reality, I was still there on the hill, man. But in my mind, I was just hallucinating. I'm in my room right now. I'm just gonna lie down and just go to bed. And I fell asleep on that field, and I slept there for about 2 hours. And I woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning. My body suddenly realized that I was sleeping there, because it was cold. It started to get cold because a lot of trees, forests, and the smells and everything. I wasn't used to that, and my body recognized that. So I woke up, and when I woke up, I realized, oh shit, I fell asleep on that hill. So I was pretty much fine. I was just a bit groggy, and then I was like, I threw the bottles and I threw all the cans. I decided to like So I was starving, man. So I was like thinking, I'm just gonna go home. There's food at home. So I took a cab home. So I got home around 3 a.m. in the morning. And I got home at 3 a.m. in the morning. I opened the door. When I opened the door, there was something strange. I realized the living room lights were on, man. The living room lights were